In the lab, Rolf declares the serum is working, while admiring a rat's shiny fur and sparkly eyes. Regarding the women's pods, he says Kate could have sipped from the fountain of youth, but she chose to be difficult, and now she's dead. As for Marlena and Kayla, Megan put them back to sleep to avoid any more escape attempts. While the rat has been an excellent test subject, Rolf's eager to see how the humans do. Megan joins Rolf and rails at him for Bo going rogue. After they heard the gunshot killing Kate, Bo declared it was the last order he'd follow. Now, he's locked himself in the other lab and won't speak to her. Rolf reminds her he can mold people's minds, but he can't change who they are at their core. In the other lab, Bo considers the orchid and thinks about his conversation with Kate. He rubs his head as he recalls the gunshot and flinches. He rifles through drawers and finds a file with his name on it. Bo reads his parents' names and recalls Victor telling him how proud he is to have him as his son. At the ISA facility, Harris grows frustrated over not remembering anything after Megan took him. Hope tries to calm him down. All he wants to do is find Megan and bring her to justice for both their sakes. A psychiatrist enters. She explains Kimberly called her in to consult. They agreed the changes to Harris' brain chemistry are deeply embedded and that traditional psychotherapy may not be enough to retrieve his memories. Shock therapy is an option, but it could be fatal. Harris doesn't care. He wants to do it today. Hope encourages him to think it over, but Harris signs the consent form. At Brady's pub, Chad tells Abe how humbling playing virtual chess is with Theo. Abe recalls how he and Lexi worried their son would never work or live independently. Now he sometimes wishes Theo weren't so independent. Chad marvels at his own children growing up so fast. He worries how they will react if things don't work out with Stephanie. Abe advises Chad to take it one day at a time and to stop with the what-ifs. Having Stephanie in their lives is a good thing. Chad agrees. In her ransacked office, Paulina assumes Sloane is responsible. Stephanie doesn't think it's her mo, but Paulina wants to wring her scrawny little neck. Stephanie suggests they call the police instead. Paulina doesn't want the scandal to get out. Stephanie offers to call someone who can handle it discreetly. At the ISA facility, electrodes attach to Harris' forehead. He bites on a stick and convulses when the doctor ups the voltage. Hope urges her to stop, but Harris tells her to keep going. When he gets a note of shock, he recalls being in a lab with Megan and Rolf. He tells Hope and the doctor about a human-sized, tube-like container. Hope asks who was in the tube. In the lab, Rolf is confident that, at the very least, Bo is over Hope. Megan scowls, wondering how he can be sure Bo hasn't fallen for her again. Megan has sacrificed everything to get Bo back. She won't lose him now. She needs Rolf to ensure that Bo is hopelessly devoted to her. Then they can use the serum to turn back time and go back to the good old days before Hope ruined everything. In the second lab, Lo flips his file to a page on Hope and reads about their romance. He recalls rocky moments in their relationship as he reads of plans to make Bo love Megan again. The file details Megan's plan to tap into his dark Kyriakis side, which prompts another flashback of Victor. Steve comes to the pub with news about Megan. A tells him Roman's not there, but both he and Chad would like to hear it. Steve fills them in and asks Chad to tell Stephanie if he sees her first. Steve is glad she has him. An appreciative Chad says they're helping each other through a tough time the best that they can. Worried that he hasn't heard from Stephanie, Chad leaves to make sure everything's okay. After Chad comes to Paulina's office, Sean arrives. Stephanie thanks him for coming so quickly. Sean finds no evidence of forced entry and confirms nothing's missing. He wants to dust for prints, but Paulina says there's no need. She orders him to arrest Sloane Peterson. At the ISA facility, Harris tells Hope and the doctor that he couldn't see in the tube, but there was a nautical map on the wall. He writes down the coordinates. As Bo's memories flood in, he recalls being on the fancy face with Hope and driving her away from her wedding on his motorcycle. Bo's face fills with anguish as he recalls Hope kissing him as he died. Meanwhile, Megan has a plan to deliver Bo for a tune-up from Rolf. She orders the mad scientist to keep working on the serum and leaves with a vial and syringe. The map Harris remembered hangs on the wall. As Steve grows frustrated at the pub over not finding Megan, Abby worries he's letting this quest take over his life. Steve retorts that it's the only thing getting him out of bed in the morning. He has plans for Megan once they find her, but thinks it's best if Abby doesn't.